Look at them welds. So, the last thing Joe's got left to do is put the lower torque boxes on, and then this thing can start going back together. It's been a little bit longer project than we would have liked. It should have been pretty quick actually, but you know how it is, waiting on parts. It's custom fab work type stuff, but Joe absolutely killed it on this. Joe and Brady knocked this out. We're gonna clearance this area also because it was rubbing the drive shaft at some point, so we're gonna clearance that. But this thing is about ready to get back together. I was putting new tires on his wheels, actually, on Barry's wheels. So I got some brand new Mickey Thompsons on there, but so the old ones kind of got jacked up. Where is it? Hold on. Ah, here it is. So the original beadlock ring got jacked up, so I ordered another one of those, so we're just waiting for that to come in, and then we can put his other tire on, and then he'll be ready to go. We got a drive shaft for my Fox body, which is really exciting. Got the carbon fiber PST unit. So I'm actually, if you guys don't know, I sell my own Turbo 400 and Power Glide swap kits for the S550s, pretty much for any car really, but I'm working on some stuff because I'm going to change it up this year. I'm going to try and make them, oh, look at this ugly mug. So I'm going to try and, I'm testing them on the Fox body, but I'll be able to use it in the S550 with just a different drive shaft. But essentially, they're going to include the Mark Mickey shifter this time instead of that being an upgrade. And then they're going to include a PST carbon shaft instead of that being an upgrade. And they're going to be more affordable. So pretty excited. We're testing that out on this car. And then we'll put it into an S550 and test that. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. Just right where he's at, really.
How much is this? So I don't drop it.
$6,000.
Oh, we're good. I didn't remember.
Alright, so this is a brand new OEM Gen 3 crate engine. Pretty sweet. So this is the car that came here a long time ago. We're at the old shop right now. That's how many damn cars we got going on. But this is the one that broke the snout off the crank. So yeah, it's been interesting to get this out of here. So we're gonna get this engine pulled out. We are gonna do obviously oil pump gears, crank sprocket, kinetic cranksaver stud on the new engine. And yeah, this is a ESS car, so I'm not sure what happened, if the oil pump gears weren't seated properly or what the heck happened, but that's a problem, officer. So we're gonna get this pulled out and get the new one in hopefully today. So fresh. Alright guys, so as you saw, we were putting a brand new Gen 3 crate engine in this Mustang. So I guess backstory, he bought the Mustang It had already been modded by some shop out near where they live, in Louisiana. And it was a twin turbo car at some point, had oil pump gears, crank sprocket done, and then the car, I think it was taken back to stock and then sold to him. And they put an ESS blower on it, which is a really good blower for the price. I mean, really what you get is great. They're super easy to install as well too. But anyways, so they put the ESS blower on it, started tuning, and literally I think the first pass, not pass like at the track, but first hit he made on the road, snapped the crank. So you can see in the videos the snout on the crank had actually snapped, and I think I showed it in a video a long time ago, but this car's been here a while. We've just been waiting on the crate engine. They were on national back order for a while, and then they finally shipped. So went to our local dealer, picked up the crate engine. We got to bring the core back, but he wanted to do the oil pump gears and the crank sprocket on the new engine, which is good idea, good insurance. And then we're going to do the kinetic cranksaver studs. So you may be wondering, why do the cranks snap on these Mustangs? Well, there's probably a couple reasons. I'm not going to say I know the fix for sure 100% because I don't think anybody really does, but a couple things. If you have a blower car, supercharged, pro-charged, whatever, you should most definitely run a crank support. Now I've seen like the ESS cars, they do pretty well, but it's just the harmonics. You're pulling on the balancer by having a pulley wrapped, pulley pulling on the same belt that's pulling on the lower balancer. It's just extra tension, extra force, extra harmonics. I personally would probably run a crank support on any pro-charged Whipple, probably even an ESS, just to be on the safe side. Now turbo cars have snapped the cranks as well. And you may be asking yourself, now, why would that make sense? Well, for one, the snout on the crank is very small, by the way, compared to like an LS or an LT motor or a Hemi motor. It is a very small crank, by the way. But that's not the reason why they snap. A few problems that I've seen personally. Now, other shops I've talked to have seen it as well. Like I said, that's not the end-all be-all, but a lot of the times the lower balancer is not seated all the way, so you got to make sure you run that down all the way. We preferably use one of the OEM balancer installers. Now I know a lot of people just take the stock stud, run it down, bottom it out, and then pull the stud out and put a kinetic or an ARP, whatever. That's not how I like to do it. I don't know, I've had better luck with just sticking to the basics and using the actual installer tool because it has a bearing, and that bearing doesn't mess up the threads. So anytime you're running a bolt in and out, you have the chance of messing up the threads. So I just play it safe, and I use the brand, it's called OEM. So we use an OEM installer tool, and we make sure we run it all the way down so it's seated all the way. You can actually put a feeler gauge back there and measure it versus like if you have a car that hasn't been pulled apart yet. You can always do that. We also prefer to use the kinetic cranksaver stud. It goes deeper than the ARP stud, and same thing, it actually uses a nut and washer versus like traditional bolt style. So same thing, it's not as hard on the threads when you're torquing it down. So that's another way to, just another precaution that you could do. You could run a kinetic cranksaver stud. And then the other reason why I've seen it done is people run an ATI balancer or any aftermarket balancer, and they don't take calipers and measure, the outside diameter of the crank versus the inside diameter of the bore of the actual balancer. And so what happens is they go to seat it, they think it's seated, and it actually hasn't seated all the way, and it's because the ATI balancer probably isn't open enough for the crank to fit through it. And you may be asking yourselves, well, why? Well, one, it's aftermarket parts. They're never just fit perfectly. You'll realize that when you start installing stuff. But another reason is the crankshaft in the Mustang. There is a tolerance in the size of the crankshaft, the snout of it. And people have proven that. Actually, Travis, I think his name is the guy that owns Boundary Oil Pump Gears. He's actually like taken calipers to a bunch of different crank snouts and actually measured them out, and a lot of them are different. That's part of machining. Stuff happens like that. So like I said, what we do to be extra cautious, now I'm not saying it's not going to happen to us, because it can happen to anybody, but the best thing to do is make sure you use a correct installer tool, get the balancer seated as you know, where it's supposed to be. Run a kinetic crank saver stud, and if you're running, you know, a big Whipple or a big Pro Charge setup, or, you know, even an ESS setup with a really small pulley, if you're overspinning it, I would highly recommend you do some type of crank support. So MFP actually makes one. I'm becoming a dealer for them actually this week. I've been talking to the guy over there. So that's what I would do. You do what you want, but that's what I recommend. I'm not saying that's the end all be all, but that will definitely help you make sure that those issues don't happen to you for the most part. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, the giveaway is actually ending in like a couple days, I think on Wednesday, January 31st. The giveaway will be over, so make sure you purchase something at coyotedirect.com. You can still purchase stuff after. We're going to do a different giveaway once the Turbo Kit giveaway is done. But actually, if you've made it this far in the video, comment down below what you'd like to see given away next. We did bell axe first. We're doing a custom Turbo Kit this time, and we'll do something a little bit different for the next quarter. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next one.